Hello, welcome to Closing the Distance. My name is Jeff Meyers, one of the pastors here at Roswell Presbyterian Church. Joy to be joined with Reverend Morgan Burge. Morgan, how you doing this morning?
I'm great. How about
Good.
you?
Good, good. Now, Morgan, how long have you been at RPC now?
Came in summer 2023, and there were some different iterations of that, but got ordained in July, so almost a year.
Yes. And what is your official title?
I am the associate pastor for membership, or sorry, member engagement and digital ministry.
Yes. And one of the keys, you're the answer to a lot of strategic planning. So when we did our strategic planning process, two of the key areas that we really wanted to put resources in and grow in was member engagement. How do we get our membership engaged in the work of ministry? And then also our digital ministry. And today we're going to really focus in on digital ministry and this area that I think is kind of opaque to a lot of people. They've heard about it, they know stuff happens online, but they don't know what happens behind the scenes. So okay, we've seen a dramatic growth in our digital ministry, um, especially through the pandemic and since. A lot of people don't know, shortly before COVID hit, we had invested in doing live streaming some of our services, which we continue to do, and which was so important for keeping us unified in worship during the pandemic. How have you come in and inherited digital ministry? And what did you see kind of your calling to lead that area of ministry at RPC?
Yeah, I mean, when I came in, I noticed how well certain things were already going. I think our we have a decent group of people who are watching our services. We have some groups that are meeting hybrid, like Bible studies and Sunday school classes, and some completely on Zoom. So, what I saw my role as when I came is basically cultivating community among people who are watching are completely digital or are hybrid for one reason or another, and pastoring them like pastoral care, but also helping them to get plugged in more and more engaged in what RPC is doing.
Right. Um, so give us kind of the scope, like how many people, let's say, join us on a Sunday or through the sermon podcast for worship?
I think people will be floored because it has even increased since 2024. We have about 5 to 600 people every single week who are watching our service or listening to the sermon podcast or both. I'll back that up. Not even people. That's just the screens or the device. So if we're counting each device as 2.5 people, it's
Yeah,
pretty
it's
significant.
it's really remarkable the growth we've seen just year over year. And I think I just assumed kind of it was a COVID thing and now people are going to come back to worship. But what we've seen is, yes, people have come back to worship, but we've even seen this increase in worshiping online. What are some of the reasons why people choose to worship online?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've gotten a lot of like, are people going to come back? Like, we just need to get them back in. And the thing is, we've seen there's three different main categories of people. There's people who they would love to be here. They are sick. They are hurt. They are traveling for work or for family obligations or for youth sports, as we know. Um, they are unable to come for one reason or another. That's one section. Two is people visiting us. It is very scary to walk in a new church when you do not know anybody. And what helps people is they can view our services and feel like they look at our website, our social media, our services, and they say, "This is a place I think I could see myself and my family." And then the third is I'm like brain blank. What's my third group?
People are sick who can't get here. How about people who just choose to worship online?
That as well. That as well. So I guess we have four then. That's the thing. People who don't live here. We have people in Iowa worshiping, Florida, South Carolina. Every week, these people are like very faithful and consider this their church. Um,
Yes.
we've had people from the UK. We have people from South Georgia, from Alabama. Oh, honestly, I'm still gathering the states and the countries that people are worshiping from, but it is very vast.
And that's just as fascinating to me that people, are choosing kind of a non-local, physically local worshiping community. What are some of the reasons you get why people choose RPC?
Yeah. Well, I can think of one of our very faithful digital worshipers. His church is um, they are like aging and they're just kind of shrunk. And he finds a lot of inspiration and he gets ideas and he brings it back to his church and he, sings in the choir there and he finds this as a really helpful resource and very life-giving as someone who's really serving um, day in and day out in his church. So,
That's very cool. Yeah, and I think you highlighted, how people visit, quote unquote, visit the church online before they ever come in physically. And I've been really blown away. But I kind of think to myself, like, if I was church shopping, so to speak, that's what I would do, you know?
that's what I did. That's how I'm
Yeah.
here. Honestly,
Really?
yes, I got a nice pitch for RPC from the Reverend Scott Weimer and I was like, didn't see myself leaving the area I was already in, but I was like, let me see what their services are like. And so I looked at a traditional and I watched that with my family and I looked at a modern service and I watched it and I was like, this is really good. And so
Mhm.
that's kind of what made me take the step to look into RPC.
Well, we are so thankful you're here. Um, okay, so what goes into outside of participating in the worship services online? What are the other kinds of digital ministry activities are available and that we're doing?
Yeah, so we have a very amazing feature when you're looking for community groups on our website. You can filter them and say online only or hybrid. And so we have Sunday school classes, we have Bible studies, we have fellowship and like conversation groups that people can join from wherever they are. And I lead one on Wednesdays, it's purely virtual Bible study. We meet on Zoom at noon and we have people from different states. We have homebound individuals. We have people who are working but have just like a lunch hour and they spend their lunch hour with us. It's a very sweet community. We pray for each other. We study the Bible and I share my screen so everyone can see it. Very accessible. We keep up with each other through the week, email. And I have one-on-one pastoral conversations with people as they are going through some of the most heartbreaking, hard times of their life and celebrate joys with people and connect them to our care ministries. But also, like we have online uh, or digital people in our digital congregation that are giving generously, people who are donating to Guatemala scholarships for students, sending baskets, or like, we did the Easter drive um, for children in foster care. So
Mhm,
anyone could have sent those items. Like people sent them from Amazon or wherever, whatever preferred retailer, into the church from
mhm.
wherever they were. Like people are serving in mission. Another fellowship thing that we do for our digital congregation is on the first Sundays after service, we meet for a coffee hour and we discuss the sermon. We've had some fun ones and we fellowship. And sometimes the coolest thing is people have been members here and they'll have moved away or now they're homebound for health reasons and they will see each other on the Zoom and say, I met you 10, 12 years ago. And then we will talk about where their life has been since.
Uh-huh.
It's so cool.
That's really cool. Well, you mentioned that you're doing a digital only Bible study on Wednesdays at noon. Who's the demographic? Is it just young people? Is it older people? What is it like?
Right. There's a misconception that digital ministry is like all young people, but honestly, it's not. It's a real intergenerational group. The youngest, I would say, we have a couple people in their like early to mid 30s. And then we have some people in their 50s. It's co-ed, it's all the people. We have some people who've been retired for 15 years. And the coolest thing is they get to, like, as we go through different life stages together, the older generation is getting to kind of impart that knowledge of, I'm scared to retire. What is it like? And then they're sharing their stories of how awesome it is usually. And kind of encouraging them, or like some of us with young kids get to turn to these parents who have teenagers and
Hmm.
we talk through things. So it's
That's
across the map.
that's really cool. Well, when we're in the middle of this legacy capital campaign, we're trying to raise money. One of the key areas we want to invest in is our digital ministry. When you think about, when I ask you, what could we do with these resources that people give? How would we use them?
Well, first and foremost, although our live stream is fabulous, I think there are some ways we can improve our sound and our like picture quality, our cameras. So some of the like technical things that make that happen well. Um, and I mean, our hybrid Bible studies, we use these tools that help people hear well from inside the room. They hear the people on the computer, and then the
Mhm.
people on the computer hear what's happening in the room. So those are things we can improve and kind of update to help people actually be more integrated in hybrid events and things like that.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we'd like to create kind of a digital studio. So like what we're doing right now, we could be a little bit more professional
Yeah.
with the product and with the media that we're putting out.
Mhm.
We've been shooting more and more digital videos that are being used on our social media outlets. And so we want to find all these different ways to engage people in the communal life of Roswell Presbyterian Church, whether if they're here or somewhere else, that they can be engaged in the ministry, which is very cool.
And I
What?
really think,
Yeah,
sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I really think that like Roswell Presbyterian Church has such a rich like culture and ministries and missions and vision. And I think that we really can be such a blessing to people no matter where they are, whether they travel a lot, whether they are stuck and confined at home for various reasons, whether they are um, managing like care of their parents and children. I think that that's really where investing in our digital ministry can be a resource for people, can be encouragement, can be community, and can grow people's faith. So that's
Yes.
I hope.
Yeah. When you think to the future, what are some of the hopes and dreams that you and your ministry through the digital space you have?
We want to create more opportunities for like multi-directional conversations, like on social media. And we're looking at different platforms, even using like Facebook, but also there's some other networks that create kind of a fully virtual community where we could do like webinars for people and different teachings. We can do different like times of discussion on various topics. So really, I just want to create more hubs of connection to the church. And I want
Mhm.
people to feel like I can become a member and I can get in leadership
Right.
from wherever they are.
I think we have some digital ministry folks who are like going on mission trips and
Yes,
um, to
we
Kenya. I
have.
mean, and they feel so much a part of things that, they can join us for something like that, that they might
Mhm.
not be able to be here every Sunday in worship, which I think is very cool.
Right. I do too. I do too.
Now, I think let's talk about some of the psychological, spiritual effects of should I feel less than if I only worship digitally?
No, you should not. Um, I everyone's circumstances is so like are so unique, and I think a lot of people feel shame around the church in general, for the various reasons that you can imagine. But this is not a space where I want people to feel shame. I
Hmm.
want people to feel freedom to engage and encounter God and be in community in whatever ways they feel called. And sometimes that looks like worshiping from home. Sometimes that looks like worshiping from a hotel room while you are preparing for a softball tournament. And sometimes it's worshiping from your dorm because you miss your home church and are in college now. So, overall, whatever the circumstances are, we're happy to have you be a part of this community.
Are there maybe some advantages to worshiping digitally, do you think?
I mean, I miss wearing my pajamas on Sunday. But I do think that part's nice. But a main one that I've really been thinking through as I've gotten to go visit some of our homebound members and serve communion is they can hear excellently. Some people um, even with hearing aids and different things they've tried, like this is just what's better. They are able to connect their hearing aids to the computer and be able to hear really well. And for them, they see everything, hear it, and they're able to worship with maybe a spouse who is immunocompromised. I mean,
Hmm.
that is like, how could we ever
Yeah.
shame someone for something like that?
That's really cool. And I've had a lot, one of our perpetual problems, and especially in the big sanctuary, is the sound, especially for the spoken word. And I've talked to so many people who've said just what you said, that they can actually hear when it's online and hear
And
so much
see.
clearer and better.
And but also I think that one of the advantages is that kind of intergenerational piece that you can have deep conversations and pray together and um, engage in different forms of community online that you may, for one reason or another, not have access to in person.
Right. Cool. Well, thank you for your ministry among us. You are the preacher this coming Sunday, correct?
Oh, yeah.
So, what do we have to look forward to on Sunday?
Well, you have to look forward to being encouraged and challenged to try something new,
Oh,
or maybe something unnatural to you,
okay. Ooh, this sounds interesting. Gonna step on some toes?
just lightly, not
That's
too
smart.
much, with a couple jokes.
Make the pill go down easier. Um, well, thank you. I look forward to Sunday, worshiping with you. We do have communion in worship. So if you are worshiping digitally, you're going to want to make sure you get your bread and your cup and get ready to celebrate Holy Communion together. If you're somebody who's can only worship digitally and you're local to the church, we do have offer at-home communion where a clergy person and an elder will come and serve you where you're at. We can't do everyone all the time, but we try to make it a regular part of our ministry. And so I'd encourage people to reach out to our congregational care area. Also, remember, we're continuing in the legacy campaign. So we're hoping to wrap that up with Easter and really celebrate the commitments people have made. They can go digitally to roswellpress.org/legacy. There's a commitment form there. You can make your commitment that can be fulfilled over the next 3 years. I would also invite people to go check out the video that we debuted this past Sunday. It includes interviews with our members, pictures from days gone by, some of the great impact that RPC is making in the community. So if you missed that, go check it out. It's very inspiring. I think a few tears were shed with the stories that were told. Well, Morgan, thank you so much for closing the distance, and I'll see you soon, okay?
See you soon. Thanks.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.